Coach Darryl Brown with us, Football in Focus, Shane's Rib Shack for a Thursday prior to the start of the season, which the games will be coming soon, but the practices kick off Saturday. Coach, what's your Saturday plan? What's the plan for you guys practice Southern Guilford for this coming week?
Well, for the first time ever, we're going to do a Midnight Madness. So we'll actually go tomorrow night, 12 o'clock, which is actually Saturday morning, and we'll get a little 90-minute practice in, and hopefully just something a little different for our kids and our community and our parents and stuff.
So are you inviting the community to come on out and check things out?
Yeah, we sent out a little message to our school student body today, and hopefully get a few students out there, just kind of get them excited about the upcoming season.
You had a good fan base of the playoffs last year, a very good fan base in there for that last season. Because you guys were home pretty much throughout the playoffs because you had that #1 seed, right?
Right, yeah, we were there the entire run, and our community does a good job coming out, and the last few years they've got more involved and more excited. We've had some good teams and some good seasons, so we're looking forward to another good turnout throughout the year this year.
Now, we ask you the big question. Maybe this is a question you cannot completely answer, but you've been asked this, I'm sure, many times already. How do you go about beginning to find someone to kind of step in and pick up some of the bulk? You can't say how do you replace Reggie Gillespie because you can't, but how do you begin to find the guys to pick up some of the bulk of the load he was carrying last year?
Right. Well, the one thing that we're fortunate with, we got several guys that we feel like we can put the football in their hands and they can make some plays for us this year. So we got instead of having kind of one guy, we feel like we got a group of guys that will be able to make some plays for us on the offensive side of the ball that will kind of replace some of the numbers.
Who are some of those guys?
Yeah, well, running back could be Nigel Thomas, Amon Harris, Romello Herman, who plays linebacker for us. He'll play a little bit of running back.
Is he like a blocking back, or is he a ball carrier too?
Yeah, no, we'll run it with him. He'll lead block for us on different things, some two-back sets, but he'll carry the football a little bit as well and get involved in the passing game, stuff like that. And then we got a real good group of receivers that we're counting on. Kenyon Taylor, Ron Hunt, Torek Hawk, Broderick Wagner.
Yeah, Torek Hawk, we didn't mention, he was a very good receiver for you last year. Kind of very good early, cooled off a little bit, and he picked it back up late in the year.
Yeah, he did. Torek's very explosive, extremely fast, and we kind of moved him around a little bit. He's going to play kind of inside for us this year in the slot a little bit, but he'll be able to do some good things for us.
Is it about a lot of speed this year at those different positions, skill position, a lot of speed?
All those guys are a little bit different, but we got some guys that can run a little bit.
Some of those guys track guys?
Yeah, a few of them are.
What about Thomas, Nigel Thomas? He track?
No, he's not a track guy. Could be, though.
Yeah, but he's good with speed. But the Ron Hunt kid, he's kind of a special kid, isn't he? Watching him last year, because he had close to 800 yards receiving, maybe more last year. That's a lot of yards. What, close to 800?
Yeah, he's right at, I think he's about 900.
Yeah, it's amazing, because you think about Reggie Gillespie had 3,000 yards plus rushing. Here you got a receiver close to 900 yards receiving, and you guys were not necessarily a total passing team, but you did pass enough to get him up there, and that's about 100 shy of 1,000. That's an outstanding year.
He had a big year. I'm not sure how many balls. He caught right at 40 balls, I think it was, and close to 1,000 yards, 12 touchdowns.
That's big too.
So
yeah.
He runs great routes, has great hands, but he's a down-the-field threat. He makes a lot of plays
Yeah, I still remember in one of those games, we're sitting here up in the press box, we're going left to right. You're going toward that right end zone, and just a streak route, let that ball go for him, and he just hauls it in.
He does a great job on the deep ball, being able to adjust to it and go up and high-point it, but he's come along, developed other things in his game, and he'll be a real good player for us.
Strictly offense for him, for Ron Hunt?
He'll play a little bit of defense, too, at outside linebacker.
Good athlete, too, I'm sure. Yeah. Now, you look at your quarterback spot, Rayshawn Knight. What can you tell us about him?
Yeah, Rayshawn was good enough to play quarterback for a lot of teams last year. I got a lot of respect for Ray because he sat last year behind Nathan Stoner, who was a senior, and throughout preseason, throughout the summer, throughout our scrimmages, they were pretty much neck and neck. There wasn't a lot of difference in them.
Wow.
And, Nathan kind of edged him out a little bit, just being a little bit older, kind of understanding our offense a little bit more. But Ray's gotten better every year, worked extremely hard this spring, has had a good summer, and has kind of become a leader for us. But he's going to have a good year just because nothing came to him quick, and he kept working, and he's going to get his shot this year. So I'm excited for him, and he's going to have a good year.
This is his senior year, by the way?
This is his senior year.
Sometimes it's not how you start, it's how you finish. You have one big year that can make up for any other years you're in.
Kids are always looking for it right now.
Yeah.
And he could easily, because he's a basketball player too, he could easily said, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to stick with basketball. He kept working, kept getting better. And I got a lot of respect for him because of his hard work that he's put in and his commitment to us and our football program.
You had that game against Eastern Guilford to start the season a couple of years ago. I think your quarterback got hurt maybe in that game or around that game. You were going through like 3 different. You barely could find a quarterback that year. It was tough.
That was Nathan's junior year.
Yeah.
And he broke his collarbone at the end of the game, and for the second time in 2 years. And then we went through 3 quarterbacks that year in the first 3 weeks of the season. So that was a tough year.
Stoner stuck with you too, because he could have probably said, "Man, this collarbone being broke all the time, this is kind of getting hard to put up with." But he stayed the course, and I mean, like you say, his senior year couldn't beat it. That was a great year.
Yeah, he had a great year, and he deserved it. He worked hard, and I was happy for him.
So you got the big man, Ray Shaw, not at quarterback, and you're looking at the team as a whole. Do you think this team? How do you make this team? Maybe a kind of a hypothetical question. How do you make this year's team, better than last year's team?
Well, I mean, we don't really compare teams, previous year teams or anything like that. This is a new team. It's a new group of guys. We got new leaders, people at different positions. We just want this group to be the best they can be. And we're not sure what that is right now. We're excited about them. We think we got high expectations for them. So we won't compare this year to last year. It's a new group. We'll do things differently because of our new different personnel and things of that nature. But we got high expectations for them. They got high expectations for themselves. So we'll just make sure that they're getting better each and every day, and they're the best they can be.
Going through that tough game to close out last season at your place, going for that 2-point conversion, going just a little bit short, is that something can that be a learning experience, a learning situation for those guys that were there with you last year, still with you this year?
Oh, absolutely, because when you kind of look back at that game a little bit, and a lot of our guys were involved in that game that we have still with us now. Everybody thinks about the last play and that kind of stuff, but there's probably 10 plays throughout that game where if we'd have done one of them different, we'd have come out on top. So there's a lot of little things throughout that game that made the difference in us not winning. So, that's something that we can always recall back on.
Some of those guys are probably still very hungry after that game to get a little further then.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's always good to get another chance. I mean, the seniors last year, they're gone, but those juniors, those sophomores, they get another chance to maybe go a little further.
Right, yeah, and we had a small senior class last year, only 10 guys, so we returned quite a bit of guys. But, they got their goals and things that they want to accomplish, and they'll work hard for them.
Have you got any guys that are stepping up? You mentioned Ray Shaw Knight becoming a leader. Other guys have kind of becoming leaders on this team now?
Well, all of our guys are a little bit, none of them are extremely vocal, but they all work extremely hard. And that's the thing I've been most pleased with, is just their commitment to the things we've asked them to do, and their willingness to kind of do whatever it is we ask. And they work hard, and they put themselves in the right positions to be successful. So as long as they do that, they'll kind of lead by example for us.
Where do you get your motivational ideas? You got anything, coaches you listen to, or maybe manuals you've read, books? Where do you get your motivational ideas from?
Well, we just try to be creative. We may see different things, and I got a great group of coaches on staff, and they'll come up with different ideas and different things like that. And we just try to do things that will keep it fun for them. They are high school kids.
Oh, yeah.
So we always are trying to make sure it's not like always wearing them down, because it can be. It's a grind right now for us, going through mini camp, getting ready to head into August. So we just try to keep it fun for them, and it's kind of worked for our kids, but it's always just finding different ways to be creative with them.
I guess tomorrow night's practice and that Midnight Madness will be something you'll try to find ways to make that fun too, because a lot of kids, over the years, you go back and talk to guys that played this high school football game years ago, they'll always say how tough those practices are. They don't really mention about being a lot of fun, but you got to find ways to make that practice tomorrow night, and even next week, all that conditioning fun too, so these guys will remember this in a good way.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough no matter what, and they understand that, and they know that, but like tomorrow night, we're going to have a short practice. It's something we hadn't done before with the Midnight Madness deal. And, we're just trying to, like I said, find different ways to kind of go about it. They get a little longer weekend, not having to come in on a Saturday. So hopefully that'll rest them up a little bit for the long week ahead, because next week will be a long week, 6 days that we'll go next week.
What will you do in that 45 minutes tomorrow night? Any idea?
We're going to go 90 minutes.
90, go 90.
Yeah.
Well, hour and a half.
Hour and a half, yeah.
So you'll go an hour and a half. Any idea what all you guys are doing tomorrow night?
Well, we've already got a few special teams in from training, from mini camp and stuff. So we'll go through some of our special teams, maybe install another special team. We'll have some 7-on-7 that we'll do, a little pass scale with the JV and varsity. And then we'll have a brief individual period. So there won't be a lot. We'll probably have one 10-minute team offensive period. We're no huddle, so we'll kind of do like a little tempo period up and down the field a little bit.
How about what have you done to get where you are now? Going back, what have you guys been doing this summer? I know it's been a busy summer for you.
Yeah, well, the summer's short in Guilford County when you get out of school June 16th.
Yeah.
We ended up about 3.5 weeks because of the 2 dead periods. But We had our summer conditioning and weight training. We had 7-on-7s. We had 4 of them. We went down to Charlotte for the Cam Newton 7-on-7.
What was that like, going to Charlotte? Was that a fun experience?
It was a great
Did
experience.
they do that at Carolina Panthers Stadium?
No, this was at Olympic High School.
Olympic High School, okay.
Yeah, and Cam Newton come out, and the guys got to have their picture with him and things like that. But we saw a lot of good teams, a lot of good competition. But it was just a chance for our guys to kind of experience something different.
Who was the big? They had several big name teams. You guys are big name from our county, but
Dutch Fort,
South Carolina. That's Coach Knott's team.
Yeah.
Tom Knotts. Wow.
Yeah, they were one of the better teams down there, probably. Davidson
Mallard
Day.
Creek or Butler, anybody those in there?
No, they weren't there. There
No
were several
Independence?
Charlotte schools. South Meck was there.
Right, that's a wild open team. Yeah,
they're good. Olympic. Davidson Day, which is up the road.
Yeah, that's where the Greer kid went a couple years ago to set all those
they
records.
had a good team there.
Wow.
So there's a lot of good competition.
Was that a
there.
2-day event or a 1-day event?
2 days. It was a Thursday, Friday.
Did you guys travel, transition back and
We
forth?
did. We went back and forth because it wasn't too bad. About an hour and a half for us.
Gotcha. But a fun event for you guys.
Yeah, it's something different. Again, just trying to find ways to, so it's not the same thing every year.
Right.
Kids are experiencing something different. And it was a great experience for them and for all of us.
What about last spring? What did you guys do in the spring? Because it was a little bit different in Guilford County this year because they actually had some kind of spring practice. What did you guys do then?
Yeah, we had 10 days in May there at the end. And it was different because you had more kids that could get involved. We just kind of treated it like we tried to get a lot of individual, a lot of fundamental stuff done, but we went ahead and installed some of our offense and defense during that time. I thought we got good work out of those 10 days.
Could you hit any at all last spring? None.
No contact.
No contact whatsoever. So it's pretty much just like you say, installing the offense and defense for a lot of the new kids and let them get familiar with that.
Yeah, we just went out in helmets. You was allowed to use shoulder pads. We just went helmets for all 10 days and just try to make sure that we got better in our individual groups and
If
with our
you use
fundamental
shoulder
stuff.
pads, how hard is it wearing shoulder pads to tell a guy you can't hit?
Yeah, that's
got to be tough.
That is tough.
You might have been smarter not to go with the shoulder pads.
Right. That's
You got a
what we
shoulder
did.
pad. Yeah,
If you put them on, then you won't want
because
to.
you watch the 7-on-7s, it's hard, so hard to see those guys not want to hit even in the 7-on-7s. Because so many times they're going to push a guy down or pop a guy. And to the receiver's credit, most of those guys don't get up looking for trouble. They usually go ahead and take it in stride and keep
What's
going.
the contact game? So
Yeah, it is. It's tough to hold that back. What about during these mini camps? Could you guys hit during those?
Nobody contact game.
No contact. Could you have pads on there if you wanted
You
to?
could wear helmet and shoulder pads again. We did just to try to get used to used to them.
I got you. Yeah.
And used to the heat and just used to moving around
Right.
without
Used to having
equipment
that
on.
stuff on during the hot.
Because now you can go
temperatures.
2 days with just helmets.
2 days during the mini camp.
And well,
2
now
days.
August when you start August 1st.
Right.
2 days just helmets.
So you don't have to go to 5 like the old days. Just go 2.
2 days with just helmets, then 3 days with helmet, shoulder pads, and then you can have full gear after that.
So 2 days, 3 days.
Yep.
So 5 days that
5
so-called conditioning, and you go full steam after that. We got to keep up on all these things too, right?
It's tough.
Right, bound because I guess you got a manual. You follow those rules from the state.
Well, they make sure we know the guidelines.
Yeah. You've been doing this how long now?
This will be my 11th season as the head coach.
11 years as a head coach. How old were you when you took that job as a head coach?
26.
26 years old. How many years now with Southern Guilford at the school?
Let me see, 15.
15 now. So you came out of college and you went somewhere else for a little
My
bit.
first year I was at Northwest Guilford Middle School.
Yeah, right. You told me about that last year.
Yeah.
And then you came over to Southern as an assistant coach in the varsity?
Right.
It's been the whole same story since then.
Yeah.
How far has this team come since you got over there, you think?
As far as our program?
Yeah, how far has this program come along?
We're extremely proud of our football program. We feel like we've got to the level now where we're competitive every year. We feel like that we're going to have a chance to compete for championships every year. Our kids have a high expectation. Our coaches do. Our student body does. Our community does. So we're extremely proud. I think we've gotten to where people expect to win, and that's what we want, And even on years when a couple years ago, we had all the injuries happen to us in the first 2 weeks, our kids still expected to win.
And they did win later in that year, too. It's kind of crazy. You came back at the end of that season.
Yeah, we was 2 points from winning the conference championship that year.
Yeah.
So, our kids, they believe in themselves. They have, like I said, have a high expectation for themselves. And that's the thing I'm most proud of is just their work ethic and the fact they expect to be competitive and be successful.
You got a pretty tough team to start off with, Eastern Guilford, right? Isn't that your first game this year? And that's going back down there again, too.
Yeah, we'll go to Eastern. Coach Robertson does a great job.
Yeah.
Got a great staff. He's one of my good friends in the coaching business here, and he's as good as he gets, and he'll have those guys ready to play. And he's got a good group. He's done a great job over there.
It's good to see him there again this year because at one time, sometimes Eastern, the coaching position would change a couple of years here, a couple of years there. Good to see the same guy come in and stay with that program for a good while.
Yeah, They'd be crazy. I mean, I hope he stays there for a long time. If he does, they're just going to continue to get better. He's won everywhere he's been at and been a part of the Reedsville program and a lot of success there. And he knows what it takes, and he's got those kids believing.
And you like having on your schedule as a non-conference team too, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, well, we're very similar in a lot of ways. We have the same type kids, some skilled players, not real big. Schools are very similar in a lot of ways, and it's just a good game for both of us. Open the season up.
You got Southeast on the non-conference schedule still too? That's a good matchup every year.
We always play Southeast because it's right down the road.
Yeah, you went down there and beat them at their place last year, right?
We did. Again, Coach Hessenthaler, another guy I got a lot of respect for. His teams play extremely hard, and they understand his system, and they run it real well. And that's a tough game for us. Not a great matchup for us because they're always real big and physical. But we played well against them last year. But that's been a tough game for us. But
those two communities like to come together too, don't they? Like to play each other. The two communities, yeah.
They've Southern and Southeast played for a long time. And,
yeah.
As long as he's there, and as long as I'm at Southern, hopefully we continue to play.
Would you like to get some other teams in Guilford County on your non-conference schedule, like a Northern Guilford, maybe down the road, people like that?
We're loaded up with Guilford County teams this year. That's all we play. Everybody we play non-conference borders our school, except for Eastern Guilford.
Throw that by us in.
We play Eastern Guilford first, then we play Grimsley. They're right down the road from us. Then we play Southeast Guilford, which borders us. Then we play week 4, we play Smith, which also borders us. And then week 5, we play Ragsdale, which borders us.
That's pretty good.
So we've got 5 Guilford County schools all right there against us. So hopefully create some rivalry, help with gates, and just be fun for our kids because a lot of our kids know those kids at those schools.
That Grimsley matchup, that's about the third year now you've done that? Been doing
third
that for a while.
year, yeah.
That's been pretty good for you too.
Right, yeah. I mean, again, they are as athletic as anybody we see all year. Got great size and good athletes, so that's a tough game for us.
These games are getting you ready for your conference then.
Right, yeah, that's what we was hoping to kind of get, maybe some bigger schools with a lot of talent, some schools that have had a lot of success, and get us ready for our conference.
Other than Southern Guilford this year, because you guys are going to be competitive game in your conference, who's going to be the team to beat in a mid-Piedmont 3A?
I think our conference this year is as good as it's ever been.
Top
I really
to bottom?
do.
Yeah.
Top to bottom, yeah. North Forsyth, extremely athletic.
Is that Coach Gilchrist?
Coach Gilchrist,
Yeah.
been around a long time. They're loaded with talent every year. A lot of great athletes.
Yeah.
Yes. Ledford, we played them at the end of our conference schedule. I think they feel like they've probably got one of the better teams they've had over there. They're huge up front, real big and physical. They got a linebacker that's already committed to NC State.
Yeah, gotcha.
Garrett Hooker.
Yeah.
And then Ashboro is probably the most talented
you
team.
Like
in
that matchup, Ashland. That's a pretty good matchup for you guys.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
It's a good battle.
I think they probably, size-wise and speed, they got as much talent as anybody we see all year. And they got 3 or 4 Division I college football players on that team right now. So, they'll be as good as anybody we've seen up to that point. So I think our conference is as good as it's been since we've been in it.
You look around the county, kind of talking about all the teams. Who do you think is the team, as far as Guilford County as a whole, who's the team to beat this year?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really kept up with a bunch of people. I know Dudley's always going to be loaded.
Good point. Good one,
I know Northern Guilford's always going to be good.
Absolutely.
I think Guilford County, there's 15 high schools in Guilford County, and there's so much talent, so many good coaches, so many good players. It could be any of those teams. We scrimmage Northwest Guilford. Coach Ross does a great job over there. They got a bunch of good players. So, you're always going to see 3 or 4 Guilford County teams, it seems like, late in the year playing deep in the playoffs.
When you start out that first practice on Saturday, you start a little slow and then build as you go. You start it hard, and you mentioned it's going to be a little easier maybe than some have been in the past.
Well, we're just shortening it because of it being at midnight. We're not going to practice for 2.5 hours at midnight. But you get so much work done during the summer now with your mini camps and stuff like that. We've got a lot of stuff already installed. It's just a matter of now of us getting better at what we're doing.
How much running do you do at the end of that practice on that Saturday morning? How much running do you think?
Yeah, we won't do any running.
None?
No.
Wow.
We'll just have our 90 minutes, and we'll get after it pretty fast in practice. And we're actually going to feed our guys after practice.
That's pretty good. So the end of practice that Saturday morning, those guys will not have to run. Do they know that already?
Yeah, they know.
Wow. I bet that was a shock.
We don't really, to be honest with you, we don't really condition after practice that much.
Yeah.
We kind of tempo and gear our practices, which a lot of people do nowadays. Our practices are conditioning.
You're moving from place to place.
Our kids are never stationary. They always got something going on.
Because you remember the old days. The old days were always, boy, you knew it in that practice.
Yeah, you're going to line up and run your gas.
You got to do like 50s and 40s and 100s and all that crazy stuff.
Yeah.
That's how the game has changed a lot too, right?
Right. And
you can't do that to kids anymore.
We do most of that stuff in the summer.
Yeah.
And that's what our summers are good for. And
when you go out on those summer workouts, are you out there for an hour, 2 hours? How long?
We spend about an hour or so in the weight room and doing some agility, plyometric
You take them
work.
to the weight room, work them out, and then take them back outside?
And then after the weight room, we'll go outside and we'll do some football stuff. Where we're kind of working on individual different things that position group wise, and then we'll finish our summer workout with like a team conditioning type thing.
What's been allowing Southern to keep on that tradition over the years? So they got a good thing about your school is I like your position because you're not like in the middle of town. You're not like on the county edge, like in the Cardinal, like a Northwest Guilford, kind of a neighborhood area. There are a lot of people, but you're kind of down in that pocket, down in the Sumner neighborhood, kind of hidden away, tucked away so nicely, and been able to maintain that same kind of quiet, friendly, but a very competitive and just a pure football tradition over the years. What's allowed that to continue on, you think?
I don't know. I mean, I always give a lot of credit to our kids, the type of players we got, and students at our school. We draw from Greensboro, kind of that way, and then still from the Allen J area. So we kind of get a good mix of kids. And I think our kids work as hard as anybody. And we're not blessed necessarily with always the best talent, but our kids develop over time. They always get better. It seems like the 4 years they're there, and their just willingness to work hard has kind of made things click for us.
I was telling Joe Serrero with the News and Record, I used to see you at some of those Southern Guilford middle school games. You keep an eye on those kids as they're growing up too, and what they're doing at the middle school and at the JV level, all these different levels. It's probably even in the Sumner community youth football. It's probably all based on what you guys do too, I would think.
Yeah, it's pretty similar. Our youth league, they play at our high school, and they play 3 or 4 Saturdays.
That's
at
fun
our
to go
high
watch
school.
those kids too, isn't it? Yeah.
Right, and it's good that they get to come out and play on our field, and they come to our games and kind of hang out down at our tunnel as we run out on the field and stuff like that. And so, it's kept kind of growing over the last few years, and hopefully just keep getting better.
If you could bring back Allen J, would you bring those guys back into the fold from the old days, the Allen J Jaybirds? That used to be kind of that was almost like a rival right in your backyard back in the day. You hate in some ways those guys are gone, but I guess you absorbed most of those kids. They came to your school, but would it be fun to bring those guys back again one day?
That's a little before my time, but I've heard a lot about it, the Sumner and Allen J rivalry for sure. I know one of the better teams that Southern and Guilford ever had is when those two schools consolidated in 1979, and they played in the Eastern Finals that year.
There were days back, from my memory, growing up around here, when Allen J had some very good football teams back in those old days.
I think my father-in-law, he played quarterback at Allen J, and
your father-in-law?
My father-in-law did, yeah.
Gotcha.
And he'd always tell me, I've seen and heard, and Allen J was always a 9-10 win team every year.
What is his last name?
Zachary.
Zachary. Yeah, he was at Allen J. Because they had some great coaches, very good coaches. I won't say great, but some good coaches over there too back in the day. Mm-hmm. Wow. And do they still have that school as far as a middle school or elementary school? Anything? Allen J name still over there?
Yeah, it's called Allen J School. It's some kind of alternate school. It's like a 5 through 8, almost like a year-round type school. Mm-hmm. So it's not a feeder for Southern.
Right. You don't draw for them at all. Then. Gotcha. Looking at the Southern Guilford tradition, looking at some of the memorable names, who are the most memorable names you recall from Southern Guilford growing up over the years, the guys that played at your school? Who would be the
Well, of course, you got
names?
Dino and Joy Hackett.
They usually hit the fan first, don't
Right,
they?
well, 2 NFL guys. Brothers.
Yeah.
And probably 2 of the best athletes to come through there. I know Joy was one of the best all-around athletes to come through Southern, at least I've heard. And then throughout the football program, there's been, throughout the 80s, there was a lot of good players. You had like Carlos Russell, Derek Watkins, Shane Trotter, some guys like that were real good players in the late 80s. And then, of course, the guys that we've had here the last few years, Scotty Waynes, William
Yeah, I
Graves.
wrote his name. I remember Scotty because we always talked about Scotty back in the day. They killed that automobile accident. That was just still tough to think about that sometimes.
Yeah.
Because remember Greg, who used to have beef O'Brady's, he called me that day and let me know about that, and I contacted you on that Saturday because it happened, I guess, early Saturday morning. They were coming back from Charlotte, I guess. Is that right?
Yeah.
Crazy stuff.
Yeah,
Then
that was tough.
you had Scotty Wayne, and later on you had Warren Scott.
Warren Scott, yeah. They were a year apart.
Yeah, very good ball player. Played at
Real good
Greensboro
players.
College.
Yeah, Warren
Not a
played at
big guy, but had a
Greensboro.
big heart.
Yeah, the last few years we had several guys.
That Malik Mosley was now standing play. What happened to Malik Mosley?
He's at Winston-Salem State now.
Still hanging tough?
He went to Old Dominion, played there for 2 years, and he's transferred, and he's going to finish out at Winston-Salem State. He's
When he
playing
played
for
ball
them.
there? Yeah. That's a good program over there.
Yeah, very good.
You had the McHouston brothers back in the old days, too. Ever heard of their names,
Yeah,
Larry and Barry?
Barry and Larry, yeah. Don Shore, Steve Hodgen.
Coach Atkinson was there, too, back in the day.
Nicky Atkinson, yeah.
Very good ball player. Kim Smith.
Yeah.
Did Jake ever play for you guys?
Yeah, Jake did. Yeah,
He did?
He played my first year at Southern. He was our quarterback. My first year as an assistant.
Yeah, I would think he would be a good quarter. I can't say it because I didn't see him play.
He was a real good player.
Yeah,
real good player.
very good athlete.
Yeah, in fact, he was a 4-year starter at quarterback.
Was he really? 4 years. That's like freshman year too.
Yeah.
Wow. He must. He's a very good baseball man. He
was a good
about
athlete.
football. Yeah,
Yeah.
Jake Smith, a good size kid too.
Yeah, he was.
But he was a tough guy back in that quarterback pocket back in
Yeah,
the day.
back then we ran the veer, the option, so he was tough. Tough to tackle on the option.
Probably bringing it down that line, hold
Yep.
the ball last second, then kind of hand the ball off.
Yeah, he pulled that thing most of the time.
What about this guy? I mean, we're reminiscing something about something with this coming year, 2015. It's fun to look back to. What about this guy, Ralph Brown? Does his name ever come up?
Absolutely.
Remember Doug Brown's dad?
Well, my grandpa talks about Ralph as probably the best player he ever coached.
That says a lot there.
Yeah.
That says a lot. His grandfather coached some very good players.
He said he was a ridiculous athlete for that time.
Because his son Doug played at Ragsdale. He was an outstanding athlete too.
Right.
Wow. How about this? I don't think this guy played football, but I see this guy occasionally. Good kid. I think he was may play some basketball. He's a big time volleyball fanatic. Daniel Coffin. Remember Daniel back in the day? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. He
I
changed.
see him every once in a while.
He changed a lot over the years.
Yep.
What's your grandfather do these days? Just hanging tough, I'm sure.
Yeah, he's getting a little older for sure. He don't get around quite as good as he used to, but he'll be at all the games every Friday night, so he won't miss any of them. He used to always come to practice and stuff like that.
So back when he was more healthy, he couldn't practice every day.
Right, and he's fine health-wise. He just, his ankle and knee and stuff like that bother him a lot, so he don't get to walk around as much as he used to. But he'll be at every game Friday night, and he's always keeping up, and he's always trying to do things to help the program, support it any way he can.
When he was coming to practices, would he come every day?
He'd come as much as he could.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good to have a guy like that around.
Yeah.
I mean,
He wouldn't bother nobody. He'd pull up a 5-gallon bucket on the side of over there by the gate and just sit on it and watch.
Subtly, did he ever offer any subtle suggestions, anything?
Oh, he'd always give me a suggestion every once
That's
in a while.
pretty good. That's pretty good to have a guy like that around.
Yeah.
I'm just backing off the top of my hat this question, because I know Coach Slayton. I keep up with Coach Slayton real close to the Southeast. I think Coach Slayton's like 85 now. How old is Coach Seiler now? About the
Let me
same
think.
age?
I think he's a year older, 86.
I knew they were right near each other, age-wise, and they're good friends over the years,
Yeah,
too.
very good friends.
I think that Southern-Southeast competition goes back a lot of years between those guys.
Yeah.
Now, you look at your future. What do you see happening to Southern over the next, say, 10, 15 years from your standpoint?
Oh, it's hard for me.
Do you have any sons? Do you have any sons?
I do. I have a 2-year-old son.
Do you really? I know you had 2 little daughters we saw earlier. I
Yeah,
think it was,
yeah.
So you got a 2-year-old son?
Yeah.
Wow, he'll be coming around in a few years then.
Yeah.
You got to coach at least, he's 2 years old, you got to coach at least about maybe another 14, 15 years at least then.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Who knows? You never know.
But elsewise, what do you see happening at Southern over the next several years? Just keep building the program as you are
We
today?
just, I think we've done a good job to get it to where we're at right now. I mean, I got a great coaching staff, as good as.
Who's your offensive coordinator? Do we know him?
Well, I call the offensive plays.
You do
but,
know offensive plays.
I call the offensive plays, yeah. But our offensive staff, we got Will Brown, Jesse Tripp, Darren Garcia, and Brad Hensley on that side of the ball, and then we got a real good
Garcia
defense.
name kind of rings a bell.
He played with Scotty.
Okay, I thought
He played quarterback on that team.
He's a young guy then. Yeah. Okay. And who else you got now?
And then on our defensive side, Corey Phillips, Joe Rigsby, Paul McCouchick, and Donovan Artis on that side of football. And they all do a great job, very knowledgeable, but they care a lot about our kids. And they're always, they do whatever they can to help those kids be successful in the classroom and on the field. And I think that's one of the reasons we've had success is that we got guys that are always there for them, always care about them, and do anything they can to help them.
On a given day, how much time would you probably spend at school that day when you get there?
On like a day right now in preseason,
Yeah.
I get there, but right now I'm getting there at 6 in the morning, and I left tonight at 5:30.
So you get there at 6 in the morning. What do you start doing when you get there that early?
Just making sure everything's ready to go for practice. We start at 9 o'clock. But we meet the day before, so we already got our practice plan and stuff like that. But I'm a little I never want to make sure we leave anything, untouched. I just kind of go back through things and go over things, make sure we're good with everything, and kind of go back over my script, make sure it's the way it needs to be, and just make sure that everything's in place for
Do the
start.
players get a copy of that script before the practice every day?
Well, they don't get a copy of our offensive script, but they'll kind of know our practice plan, because once we get going with it, it kind of stays the same.
And your practice field is up behind the school there, kind of moving in behind the football stadium.
Yeah, the old baseball field.
Exactly, old baseball field there. Now, on a given school day, how does the schedule change for you then? What's your schedule like time-wise then on a school day? Yeah.
Well, I get to school a little bit later because I take my daughter to school, but get there about 7:30, something like that. And a normal practice day, we start practice about 4:15 because we get out of school about 3:50. Done with practice around 6:30, maybe a little later. Then get home about 7:30, 8 o'clock or something like that.
When you get home about 7:30, 8 o'clock, are you able to put the football away then for that day?
Oh, yeah, I don't. I try not to talk about it. Try not to do anything, because when I get home, really, I'm tired, exhausted. But I want to spend that time with my family, my kids, and
exactly
enjoy that time.
What's the weekend like? You come out of a Friday night game. What's the transition like then? As soon as the Friday night's game over, you guys are in the field house. So do you take the film of that game if you're playing at home? Since you're there already, do you take that film and start looking at it as soon as the game's over and start breaking things down? Or you guys set it aside and go back to work on Saturday? How's that work?
Yeah, we'll look at a few things on Friday night. Not a lot. We spend most of me and a few coaches, a handful of coaches will come in Saturday morning, start breaking down our film, starting to look at who we play the following week, try to get things in order, kind of what our game plan is going to be for whoever we're playing the following Friday. And then as a whole staff, we'll meet Sunday afternoon, 2 to about 6, 6:30, something like that, and get everything laid out for the week and get our game plan and make sure everybody's on the same page with everything before we start Monday.
How do you get that other, I know you've probably answered this for many people before, and I probably heard the answer myself before. How do you get that other team's film that quick for the next week's game?
Well, it's changed a lot, even in the last 10 years from when I started doing it. When I first started, VHS, and we'd drive, meet, hand them over. Then it went to DVDs, but now everybody has a program called Huddle.
Oh, yeah.
Online, and you just download it on Huddle and then click a button and it shoots the film to whoever, and they do the same thing back to you.
So you just make it available on Huddle right then.
Right. We'll send it to Eastern Guilford, and Coach Robertson will send it to us. And when he accepts and I accept, then I can watch his film, then he can watch my film.
Wow, that's interesting. It's changed a ton, hasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
That's a lot more accessible. How soon do you get that download usually?
We get ours downloaded and sent on Friday. Most everybody does on Friday night right after their game.
They try to go do that right after the game at night. Yeah. So you got your film guy, your videographer guy videoing the game, then he'll take that, load it in.
Well, he just films it and then brings it to us, and then a couple of my coaches, they download it and send it through Huddle.
I'm just kind of thinking about all these computers and things. How long does it take to download something like that?
It doesn't take long.
Split second gone, just like that?
Well, a little longer than
Couple
that,
minutes.
but it's not that bad.
Yeah. Boy, things
It's a lot better than burning a DVD or
I
stuff
can
like that.
imagine having to make that trip over to meet that guy.
Yeah.
Sometimes that guy might bring you the wrong tape, and both guys get kind of mad about that.
Right, or sometimes the tape don't work. Or
Yeah, you put
like
the tape in, maybe the tape breaks or doesn't work, like you say, clogs up your VCS machine or VCR machine. Crazy things over the years. What's the biggest change of all you may have seen since you first started coaching? What kind of changes have you seen?
Wow, that's a tough question. I don't know. I feel like the speed and the players have even gotten a little better, even in the last 10 years. When I first took over 11 years ago, I felt like we had some good players, but even the last couple of years, our players have gotten stronger, gotten faster. I feel like we got better players than what we had even 10 years ago.
It seemed like in the old days, you had a strong player. He was on one side, had a fast player. Now you've got a combination strong and fast at the same time.
Yeah.
That's how that's kind of changed.
Yeah, the weight room and everything that goes along with plyometrics and speed and agility stuff is.
How fast is that big Mobley kid? Is he pretty fast?
He moves really well for his size.
What's he weigh, 280, 290?
He's every bit of 290.
Is it? That's amazing. Offense and defense, or just?
Yeah, he'll start at left tackle for us, and then we got about 6 guys that'll rotate on the interior defensive line, and he's one of them.
Wow. It's good to have a man that big, that size, that agility, that type of speed available for you.
Oh, yeah, he's a good player.
That's the kind of guy, in the years past, the Southern may have had a guy like that. I use a guy who, when I played, this guy was huge. He played baseball and football. He's probably moved on somewhere now. Maybe, I don't think he's dead, but he was around back in the day. This guy was about 250, 300 pounds, maybe. He's got him with Ace Waters, David Ace Waters.
Oh, I've heard of him.
Ace was big, but he was one of those guys who was big, but back in those guys didn't have that same speed your guys have now.
Right. Yeah, and we're not blessed with a lot of size, but I think our kids, we got good size this year. Probably a little bigger this year than we have been in the last few years.
So if you got, say, Mobley on the left side of the line, you say, left tackle offense?
Right.
Do you have Blackburn? Is he on that offensive line somewhere too?
Blackburn, he's kind of a backup offensive lineman for us. We try not to play him because he don't come off the field on defense.
Right.
He'll line up a defensive end. He'll play every snap there.
Right.
And he's a real good defensive player. And we got big plans for him. We're hoping he'll have a big year for us. But if we need to, he'll fill in on the offensive line. He's always been a team guy. Always been willing to do whatever we ask.
Usually standing up at that defensive end spot, or is he in a stance?
No, he'll be down in the stance.
3-point.
Yep.
Gotcha. I bet, man, that guy can move pretty quick, though, I would think.
Yeah, he's a good athlete. Good
Yeah.
athlete. He's quick. He'll make a lot of plays for us this season.
You know,
I
we
hope he does.
talked about it on an earlier conversation about Coach Causey stepping down at Western Guilford. That's a big change for them, too. Big change for that school.
Yeah, Coach Causey is as good of a man as there is. I think a lot of Coach Causey, great friendship with him. I hate that he's not coaching anymore, but he deserves to be the AD over there. I'm glad they gave him that job. Been a lifelong guy in that community.
Good to see him stay in that program.
Yeah, I'm glad he's staying there.
Yeah, he'll be dropping out for baseball, too, because the rule is against Guilford County. You can't
be a head
coach when you're the AD.
Right.
Yeah. Got a new man taking over, Adam Clay. Are you familiar with Coach Clay at all?
No, not at all. I didn't even know they hired somebody yet.
They hired him today. Adam Clay was a former Greensboro College football player. He's been on the Western staff for 6 years. That might be a plus, wouldn't you think?
Okay,
Haven't
yeah.
been on the staff previously.
Well, I would think this time of as late as it is,
gotta
it'd be
do it.
hard to hire somebody out of the program already.
Absolutely. But you think about a change. They're going to change it Northeast. Coach Lippert taking over there after 2
Right.
years under Coach Jackson.
Yeah.
And it's hard to replace Tommy Pursley, isn't it? Pretty tough.
Yeah. Coach Pursley's a long time. He had a great tradition there.
It's going to be tough, and I think it's going to happen in the next few years. It's going to be tough to replace Coach Norwood, too, at Ragsdale.
Oh, yeah,
Not just
absolutely.
based upon what he's doing this year, maybe next year, or a couple years recently, but what he's done over the whole big picture, the whole scheme of things, what he's done.
They've been as steady as anybody throughout his time there. And somebody asked me last year, it might have been you, kind of who we wanted to model our program
I remember that, yeah.
after. And I always Coach Norwood. When I first got the job, 2005, he's one of the first people I spent time with, just kind of how he did things. Not necessarily X's and O's, but how he went about running a football program and how he set up his summer stuff and things like that. But I got a lot of respect for him, and he's done a great job over there. And, he's a good man. They'll definitely miss him whenever he decides to hang it up. Hopefully no time soon.
It's going to be tough, too, for I told Joe Serrero with the News and Record will be tough on Coach Norwood a little bit this year because he's got to have a new guy on the defensive side helping him because Coach Anderson, Derek Anderson, there for a long time. You probably remember his son, Deshaun,
Yeah.
a little baseball player back then. I remember Deshaun, he was like that high, hanging around the press box on Friday nights. Anyway, Coach Anderson going back to Andrews, not as a football coach, but as the AD, so he loses him. He lost Coach Moody, who was his quarterback coach. And Coach Moody is kind of like yourself, young, aggressive. I like Coach Moody. He had all those Moody's have been in football for years, had that Moody family tradition of being very aggressive, very outgoing, and good teachers, good leaders. He's going to be, I think, a principal somewhere now, assistant principal. Lost a couple of other coaches. It's tougher this day and time, Coach. You have a lot more change you had in the past because it used to be, those staffs stayed together.
Right.
Coach Kirby's staff at Page years ago. Everybody in town knew probably the assistant coach as good as he did the head coach back in the day.
Right. I know he's still got Coach Boykin over there.
That's it. Yeah. That helps.
Coach
a whole
Boykin
lot.
is extremely good. He does a great job with that
There.
defense.
Yes, sir.
You got Coach Norwood on offense and Coach Boykin on defense. They'll be fine.
You fill in the other gaps, you'll be okay
Right.
there. Yeah. Who was the coach you learned the most from other than your grandfather over the years? I mean, you mentioned Coach Norwood, a lot of help from
yeah.
him, but we talked earlier about picking up motivational ideas from different coaches and different watching coaches, college coaches, high school coaches. Anybody you learned a lot from over the years?
Well, probably just more on kind of how to treat kids and how to handle your program, more so than X's and O's, like Coach Atkinson, who was my high school coach and played at Southern. But he was real big and just, he was a guy that I loved playing for because he knew how much he cared for you and things like that. And then being on Coach John Lawrence's staff for 4 years at Southern, I learned a lot of different things from him and probably learned a little bit about how to game plan and stuff like that from him. And it was a good experience being with him for 4 years as well.
What happened to those gentlemen? Are they still around the Southern area now?
Yeah, Coach Lawrence is retired.
He's retired now.
He's
Okay.
retired. He was a principal for a while after
Okay.
all that.
Yeah.
But I didn't get to talk to him. I see him every once in a while, but every once in a while I look down on a Friday night on the sideline. He'd be standing down there watching the game or something like that. And him and Coach A, they come around every once in a while. And they'll be at 2 or 3 games a year. And sometimes they're there and I don't know it up in the stands or something like that.
Might see him after the game, maybe.
Right.
What about Coach Atkinson? He's also retired too?
Well, he owns Sedgefield Florist
Oh, I see.
up there, and he runs that.
Wow.
He don't teach anymore.
Was he able to retire from teaching?
Yeah, he retired from teaching.
He got his 30 years in.
Right.
Now he runs the florist. Where's that florist at now, by the way? I know it used to be a little...
over there off of High Point Road in that area.
Okay, is it still right there where it used to be a little intersection for so many years? That little florist there when you came down?
On Groomtown and Van Day is what you're talking about.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, now it's down
Gotcha.
going toward Adams Farm.
That thing had been there forever.
Yeah.
On that little section there.
He owned it when he was there, too.
He did pretty well there. That's good. That's good to know. That's good to know. So a lot of good things you picked up from those two guys over the years.
Yeah.
For this year, what's your thoughts about the season going in? Another good one. This will be year number 12?
Number 11.
Number 11 as a head coach.
Yeah.
What do you feel is going into this year? Do the same thing you did last year, just do a little bit better?
Well, hopefully,
Yeah.
If we have another year like last year, that'd be great.
How many wins last year was it? 13? 13 and
13-1.
13-0 going in that last game. Yeah.
We got high expectations, and that's not going to change. And we're never going to say how many games we're going to win or anything like that because you don't know. We play a lot of good teams.
Right.
But we're going to show up and expect to win every Friday night. Our kids are going to work hard and prepare to win. And we feel like we got a good group. We got to stay healthy. We don't have a lot of depth at some key positions. But then at some other positions, we do have a lot of depth. So we return a lot of starters on the defensive side of the ball. So that gives us a lot of hope. We like to be good defensively early. And so our expectations are high. We're hoping we can have another good year. And we're hoping that by the time we get in conference play, that we've been tested, that we've gone through some adversity, and that we can get in conference play and hopefully make a run and try to win another conference
Do you
championship.
think Hedrick and Herbert are your two top defensive players?
I could list 9 or 10 guys.
How many total returning on defense?
Well, we probably got about 9 guys that played quite a bit last year. Not necessarily 9 starters, but 9 guys that played at some time throughout the year for us. Jeremiah Hedrick, Romello Herbin, DeAndre Days, Garrett Blackburn, Jarrell Mobley. I'm going to leave people off. Amon Harris, Jaquan Woods, Ron Hunt played there some for us. There's several guys.
Who does the kicking and punting this year?
We'll have a new guy this year. His name's Uziel Reyes. Come off the soccer team.
You always seem to get a guy off the soccer team or some guy coming in. Who was your kicker last year? Was it Garcia?
Francisco Lopez.
Garcia kicked a while. You're fortunate about getting those kickers lined in there.
Right. Uziel was a guy I had in class this spring. He's going to be a senior, so we're only going to have him for 1 year. But he does a really good job. He kicks it really well.
Uziel Reyes. They also said these guys could also be baseball players possibly too.
Yeah, shortstops or something.
Yeah, exactly. Did you do any other coaching at Southern over the years when you were coaching football?
Yeah, when I first started, before I became a head football coach, I coached all 3 sports.
Did you really?
I coached JV basketball, JV baseball, and then when I got the head football job, I gave up basketball, and I kept coaching JV baseball. And then I became the varsity baseball assistant until about 2010, when I had a couple kids and decided it was just too much for me.
And from that standpoint, you guys lose quite a bit off that baseball team from last year too, right?
Yeah, he did graduate quite a bit, guys. He's had two really good years.
He's had some very good years. Taylor Sugg going to North Carolina. Right. Evan Edwards, I'm sure, going somewhere. Ryan Cavanis, all those guys going places.
Ryan Hedrick plays at Presbyterian right now.
Exactly. A lot of talent. Coach, I know you got to get moving. You got the family.
I'm fine.
Hey, you've done a good job past couple of years at Southern Guilford, and hopefully things will continue for you. I don't think there's any need to think about any changes. Would it be possible to go straight 30, straight through?
What's that now?
Would it be possible to straight 30, straight through at that same school? You think you pull that off?
Oh, I don't know. It'd have to be a special place for me to leave. I've been there my whole life.
Yeah.
I would never say never, because you don't never know what's going to happen. But I'm happy where I'm at.
You're happy being a high school football coach.
Oh yeah. And I'm happy being at Southern. And like I said, I got a great coaching staff, a bunch of guys that I call friends, and we've worked well together. A lot of them have been there for a while with me now, and it's a good place to be at right now. We got a good administration, good student body, good community. So. I like it where I'm at.
What about your basketball coach? Is he still helping you coach any football now?
Coach Fancourt?
Yeah.
No, he's not helping anymore. He got the head job.
Yeah, everything's going good for him with basketball now.
Right, yeah. I hope he stays for a while, too.
It's good to have those good young coaches, a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm coming in.
He does a good job.
So he's doing the basketball. You got Coach Noah's dad coaching
Coach
baseball.
Carter.
Coach Carter coaching the baseball. And I guess volleyball. Who coaches that these days?
Jennifer Martin.
Coach Parks. Sharon Parks there forever, right?
Yeah, Coach Martin played for Coach Parks.
So that's good continuity there, too, then.
Yeah.
Who's doing the wrestling these days?
Coach Bogans, he's a guy that doesn't teach there. He's done it the last few years.
Yeah, Coach Horney was there forever, right?
Yeah.
You ever see those guys?
He's the
around
AD.
anymore?
Yeah, Coach Horney lives 2 houses down from my parents,
Is
so
that
I
right?
see him
Okay.
every once in a while.
What about Coach Darryl? He's still in the neighborhood anywhere?
Yeah,
out
that's
there?
my uncle.
Jay Darryl?
Yeah, I see him.
Well, yeah, I
quite
heard he
bit.
was a great great catcher back in the day.
Yeah, Southeast Guilford.
That's what Coach
And he played
Slate-
at Guilford.
Yeah, played at Guilford College too. So everybody's kind of connected some way down around Southern Guilford.
Things like that.
It's a good thing. Coach, thanks again for your time.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Look
Eddie.
forward to see you this season.
All right. Thank you very much.
Shane Drip Check for a Thursday. Going to take a little break in our program. Our Dudley players should be arriving soon, we hope. We'll take that break. Be back in just a few. Thanks for joining us, Football in Focus, prior to the season. Shane Drip Check.